So, I don't consider myself a Trekkie. Whenever, someone is asked a question, Star Wars or Star Trek, well, if there was a third option, I'd choose Mass Effect to those, but clearly I was pretty much more a Star Wars kid. Growing up, I really wasn't exposed to much Star Trek. I remember, like, when I was little, I woke up and the Trouble with Tribbles episode happened to be on, and maybe I caught a couple other episodes, but really that's it. Star Wars was much more prevalent in my life. I had the VHSs growing up. I grew up with the prequels. I grew up with like the shows they had about it. It was more prevalent around me, and the lore and the movies attracted me more than Star Trek ever did. I did happen to watch a couple Next Generation episodes that were reruns on the BBC. Watched the other Abrams Star Trek movies. The first one's really great. The second one's alright, and here we are with Beyond. Oh my god, like this is the best summer blockbuster, this year. Like the really definitive one, because a lot of people were a bit worried the marketing wasn't the best and Abrams was gone, so you really didn't have that much confidence. It's like what's going on. And with the Abrams films, I'm lumping this in with the Abrams film since he is like executive producer. um there is more of a sense, well, not more of a sense, more of a leaning towards the action than the more philosophical, going where no man has gone before. Abrams much prefers, action and adventure, and, that's always debated, but whatever. But, whatever. Yeah, so there wasn't really much confidence in those. And really, the summer hasn't been that big. Like Ghostbusters was last week coming out with reviews that were just and fine. That really didn't warrant that bullshit controversy. But Beyond's the summer blockbuster we need. It is just really good. Like my favorite of the reboot trilogy by far. Captain Kirk and the crew of the Enterprise are on their 5-year mission. It's like 3 years into their 5-year mission, and Kirk is pretty much feeling lost. I mean, he's out in space for so long. It's his birthday is pretty much here, and is like, as you hear in the trailer, like my dad joined, to save everyone. I joined on it there, so he has to pretty much live up, try to escape his father's shadow. He has to pretty much become more of the cat. He's still getting fitted with the captain role where in basically on a mission to rescue some people, they are soon marooned on this weird alien planet and come across some colorful characters and such. You know the drill, but it's really, sorry, I just keep going back to it. It's really good. No, not really good. It's great. I I described it at first as exotic because I really don't want to say like what it's more. I don't want to say exploring, but there is this really great balance of that boldly going where no man has gone before and that action. It really does know how to balance them out, because earlier reports had like the studio was a bit worrying with with an early draft of the script, because it's like this is too much like Star Trek. We want like a Guardians of the Galaxy. And thankfully it's not Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, you can argue an influence here and there, but it's more closer to the Star Trek of old with a bit of the Star Trek of new. And it really does, like I said, have this balance. The Abrams crew is great. They always have been great. And that's one of the positives always from the Star Trek movies I have watched. The chemistry is just phenomenal, and you really do get character development here. here, mainly between Spock, Kirk, and Bones. There is some controversy about Sulu now being gay in honor of George Takei, though George Takei was kind of against that for like, wait a minute, if he was gay, that would mean he'd be in the closet in the 21st century when they did the original series, when, you know, he was straight in that. It's like, that kind of goes against, you know, the vision of Gene. It's like, wait, Gene, where there's like no prejudice, no racism, and, you know, no homophobia. So wait, why would he still be in the closet? And then that caused some controversy and such. You know, oh, it's a new timeline and such, and I can see where everyone's coming from. But it's like that kind of arguing. It's just like a 15-minute, not 15 minutes, 15-second sequence of Sulu hugging, hugging. Oh god. Hugging his partner, you know, and his adoptive daughter, and that's it. It's like, that's worth the controversy, and it's really good. It's not that ham-fisted, forcing of LGBT characters that a lot of people complain about, but it is, there, and I actually really do like it. Yeah, the villain kind of warmed up to me. Idris Elba plays the villain. I'm like, alright, this is just a more regular, oh, I'm gonna take over the world baddie. But as you learn, he's not a take over the world baddie. And there's a bit more to him than I did expect. It was honestly a bit surprising, because he kind of starts out as that, but then as the film goes on, it kind of teases like, there's more to you, and I'm like, yeah, I really doubt that. Then it's like, oh, there is a bit more to him. Yeah, and that leads me to Simon Pegg is one of the screenwriters, and he does really well. Like, he nails all the he really does nail all the characters, and nails that, as I said, balance between the exploration and the more actiony parts of the reboot. They do a great, sort of send off to Leonard Nimoy, which leads to a great little, there's a little original cast tribute, like, at the end of the movie that is really touching. And something I want to add that is really surprising with how they deal with Nimoy's death, not only is it a touching tribute, but it actually works well with Spock's character development in the film. Like, they weave it in actually really well to further develop the Kelvin timeline, as they call it, Spock. Jayla, the white-haired girl, the white-skinned girl with the awesome tats, she is, like, really cool and earns her place on the team. Like, my favorite little moment, one of my favorite little moments, this part is also in the trailer, where she, like, basically gets on the little seat, and Kirk's like, that's my seat, and she just puts her feet, like, feet up, like, no, bitch, this is my seat. It's like, she's a really fun character, and really does work well off the original team. And I'd like to see her return in the other movies, if that's possible. That'd be really cool. Like, cool if she returned for, like, Star Trek 4. Oh man, that'd be really great. Before I forget, Anton Yelchin, I don't think this is his last role, who tragically died in an accident that it was just a simple accident that could have been avoided, and just fucker died too young, man. Just fuck. I don't want to dwell on it, but he's really great in the film, as always. I always liked his Chekhov, and that's sadly what I knew him as before the news broke. There is a tribute to him in the credits. I didn't say for them, but I did read that they put, like, for Anton at the end, which, oh man. Just to add, and speaking of Star Trek 4 with, Jay Lee, I am interested to see how to give, him a proper send-off. A lot of little Easter eggs for, you know, the more Trekkies. From what I read, there are a lot of Enterprise references. You know, that TV show that happened in like the early 2000s. You know, the prequel to that all. Like there are references to that. Um, yes, the action is really great, really fun. It just really fun. It helps that you have Justin Lin, the director of the Fast and Furious 6, I believe. Yeah, 6 on this. And it's like, yes, and there is one scene near the climax. You likely have heard the song that played in the trailer, but I'm not going to spoil anything else. That may be an issue for some people, but I'm sorry, that was really fun and really not annoying at all. Oh my god. Sorry, I'm a bit geeking out over this movie because it's really awesome. The characters are fun, the action is fun. You know, it develops them while having like great you know, the chemistry is just great, and it's all great. And it is, you know, what can I say? It's like a great blockbuster. It's really awesome. I'm trying to think of problems, and yeah, maybe they'll come to me. And like maybe I really can't think of any right now. I'll maybe edit this to save my problems later, but yeah, I saw this on IMAX 3D, which is the way you should see it. If you can just see it in IMAX, the 3D really didn't pop out for me, but oh my god, to just see it on IMAX is really a treat. If you were a bit worried, you know, by Into Darkness, or you aren't pretty much a fan of the way the reboot is taking it, this is a really nice, really a good step forward for them, while still being like you know, it has its focus on adventure and adventure and the unknown, and this great sort of revolving theme along conflict. It's like, do we need conflict to stay alive? And you know, no, conflict's over. You know, we can unite as a team for a team. Yeah, it sounds a bit cheesy, or I was like, or it's like, oh, I've heard this before, but it's really not. Really go see it if you can, because go see it opening weekend. It's really good. It's really fun. Because this summer, you know, it's been seeming really weak. You know, Independence Day's not been doing too well. Yeah, you got the Ghostbusters, which is like, has people like, is it gonna make money? But this is like, finally, mid to late July, we finally got that big blockbuster. And it's, I just can't say it enough. Go see this film. Seriously, go. Like, stop what you're doing, buy a ticket, go see it. Bye.